Since the assassination of Iranian General Qasem Soleimani, journalists and others have been trying to figure out the real reason that Donald Trump had unilaterally ordered a strike that nearly led us to the brink of war. Now, we appear to have an answer, and that answer is devastating. So now this comes from the liberal rag, the Wall Street Journal. Now, in that article, they said that President Trump has reportedly been telling associates his order to assassinate Iranian General Qasem Soleimani was related to his pending Senate impeachment trial. So that strike had nothing to do with protecting Americans, had nothing to do with any of that. No, it was just to help him survive impeachment. Now, that is obviously a very different justification than his administration, who, according to reports, was blindsided by his actions, and that sent them off into a panic to try to figure out what they were going to tell the press. Now, they ended up, telling the press a couple of different stories. First, in one, the first one, they said that Soleimani was planning an unspecified but imminent attack on U.S. forces in the region. Then, our attack was apparently revenge for the embassy attack by proxy forces in Iraq. All of those, again, don't make a lot of sense. Okay, nobody in no one, by the way, other than mainstream corporate media, was buying any of that. Now, corporate media was like, "Oh yeah, intelligence sources. Our intelligence sources can never be wrong." Well, that's ridiculous. Those same intelligence sources lied us into a war in Iraq. What makes you think they won't have faulty intelligence to do it again? Okay, so now they got it. Like I said, they got it wrong in Iraq. And they got it wrong here. But then, since then, Trump has privately admitted that the airstrike was related to impeachment. And he did this, like I said, in private, according to the Journal. Mr. Trump, after the strike, told associates that he was under pressure to deal with Soleimani from GOP senators he views as important supporters in his coming impeachment trial in the Senate. White House officials told the Journal that advisors disagreed whether the order was wise, but they decided to go along with the plan after they said intelligence forecast Iranian-backed attacks on U.S. and military personnel in the Middle East. So at first they were like, oh, no, this is a bad idea. Oh, wait, our intelligence agencies, the same intelligence agencies that this entire administration had been saying were full of crap for the last 4 years, roughly, that we don't trust whatsoever. Well, now we suddenly trust them again. Because, they said, basically because they give us justification to go to war. Right. Okay. Now, one of those Republicans that pushed for this and that supports it's Tom Cotton. Now, following the strike, Tom Cotton said this, quote, "The important point that's been established is that Iran is once again scared of the United States." They're scared of the United States. Okay, right. Now, Lindsey Graham. Now, that's not a shocker, right? Lindsey Graham, of course, never met a war he didn't like. He's been calling for the strikes in Iran. In fact, he was one of the ones pushing for Trump to attack Soleimani. Back before none of us had even basically heard of Soleimani. Senator Roy Blunt also said the administration had, quote, made a case that there was an imminent plan for an Iranian-backed attack that would happen within days. And so he was in support of this as well. All right. Now, obviously, not all Republicans were convinced by this. And so this is pretty notable because there's a little bit of a split in the in the Republican Party. Rand Paul, actually, as well as Mike Lee, have actually broken from Trump on this. Rand Paul called this strike, quote, "the death of diplomacy in Iran." That's really important. In fact, he also went after Mike Pompeo, who he said gave Trump bad advice. Mike Pompeo, of course, is a war hawk. He's been pushing this for quite some time. He's also a dangerous fundamentalist. And so he's got more in common with the mullahs than they do with the rest of the United States. Anyway, he said, quote, and this is Rand Paul, "You'd have to be brain dead to believe that we tear up the agreement, the Iran deal, we put an embargo on you and we kill your major general, And they're just going to crawl back to the table and say, what do you want, America? Now, that's what Donald Trump was hoping for. Because throughout all this, Donald Trump's one goal was to do a deal with Iran that's better than Obama. And think about that. The Iran deal that we got was the best that we could get, right? And Iran gave up a lot. They gave up their entire nuclear energy program in exchange for getting their money back, right? And us lifting the sanctions. And they would, of course, allow inspectors into their country. And so here we had this deal that prevented, effectively, Iran from getting a nuclear weapon. Donald Trump sees that Obama did it and said, I don't like it. I hate it. I hate it. Well, why do you hate it? Did you actually read it? Did you? No, of course. I didn't read it. No, of course. Read. Ugh. No, it's Obama. He did it. No, I want to do something better than Obama. I think I can get a better deal than Obama. So he ripped it up, brought us to the brink of war for his own goddamn ego. That's what we have going on here. Hundreds of thousands of people, even over 1 million, could have been killed if we had a conflict with Iran. Trillions of dollars. Disaster. Untold disaster in the region. Remember, Iran's 4 times the size of Iraq. And all, of course, with Donald Trump at the head. Ugh. And now, we've ensured that Iran will most certainly pursue a nuclear weapon. All for Donald Trump's goddamn ego. Sickening. Sickening. This is exactly the reason that I didn't want Donald Trump in office to begin with. He's a sociopath. He only cares about himself. And now, he's unfortunately in the number 1 position in the country. Commander-in-chief. And as we can see, he's got nearly an entire party of sycophants behind him. Only 2 Republicans. No, I'm sorry. 2 Republicans and a former Republican, Justin Amash, who's now an independent, got kicked out of the party, pushed back against Donald Trump. Where's the rest of the Republicans? Planted firmly on his ass. Sickening. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.